And we're live. I mean, you can pick up. You can pick up where you left off.
We started, and Becca's gone. Good time.
Yeah, we're ready, right? Yeah.
I looked down for a second. She's gone. I actually got the notification.
She said, "Wait."
Though. Yeah.
What have we done?
That's all right. What were you saying about how much you love Fallout 76, Dave?
Yeah, Dave, you said you love Fallout 76 more than your children.
I don't ever recall saying that.
Oh, I don't have it on tape, but you're lucky. You're lucky we don't have
I don't
that.
know why I'm lucky, but okay.
Did you make me an admin on fucking Mixer? Mixer.com/Verbal Assault Podcast.
Mixer.com/Verbal Assault Podcast.
Yeah, I actually got the Mixer notification instantly. I usually get it like tomorrow. I'm usually in my car and it pops up.
And it says we went live.
Oh, yeah, we went live. Okay, good.
When?
Becca, in case you didn't know, yeah, we did go live.
We're starting the podcast. So
as soon as you went away, we went live.
Did you all see how we figured out this problem with Patrick on the group text where he said Dean and nobody knew what he meant?
Yeah.
We figured it out all right.
Well, Patrick's not here.
Patrick's got a show.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. It was in the group text.
I gotta say that I'm actually really, really depressed today. I'm really sad.
I see a smirk.
Go on.
Yeah.
He's out of Matthew McConaughey.
I am. No, it's even better. I'm drinking Guinness tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I started intermittent fasting just so I could drink Guinness.
Doing the Lord's
The
work.
way you're holding it up to the camera, it looks like a massive mug. But it's just a pint glass, right?
Yeah, it's just a pint. There you go.
Hey, where's your dinosaur?
Yeah, where the fuck's that dino at?
He's
your
over
dinosaur.
there.
Just put it
He's over there. I can't get to him without completely rearranging and crawling out of my setup here. But
give the people what they want. Give the people air.
I was
no video or audio on Kegel's end.
What?
That should not be the case.
Maybe it's Kegel.
It's got to be because
Well,
I'm showing everything. Actually, I know that we've got it because I had to turn my volume down when I pulled the stream up.
Why are you fucking with us, Kegel?
Sorry, Kegel. That's you,
I'm
bro.
trying to tell my sad, depressing story.
Tell your tale about where the fuck you were.
We'll get to your stickers later, Kegel.
Out of Matthew McConaughey's and scene.
2 nights ago, I was leaving an IHOP. I had my my omelet to go. I was late walking out. And guys, I was jumped by 2 dudes out in the parking lot. Yeah.
Are you
They
okay?
had there's a mark right here. You can't see it, but it's there.
I got one too. It's up here.
Yeah.
Same thing
These
happened
guys-
to me.
Same
Damnedest thing. I believe it.
Well, did these guys have huge hair like Ace Ventura?
No, he looked like a bitch.
They had their hair was coming out here. It was huge, and they just ran up and they started yelling "Baldy" and calling me Mr. Clean.
Oh no!
Fucking
Really?
chrome. They call me Chrome Dome.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
rude.
It was
All the 80s insults.
guys.
It
It was,
set this nation back.
Did they try to shield their eyes because it was too bright?
yes.
Oh no!
I mean, there wasn't even sunlight. It was just
starlight.
yes.
It's not. It's not only a reflector; it's an amplifier.
That's right. And they ran up and they fucking sprayed me in the eyes with something. I thought I was being maced. It stung like hell. And I started to thrash about. I was wrestling with him and I knocked a can out of his hand and I picked it up and it was hair in a can.
Oh
They were
my
spraying
God.
they were spraying hair in a can on me and
Oh.
they said this is hair country out here. They said, get the fuck out, Baldy. This is hair country. Like, Jesus Christ. I've never been so humiliated in my life.
You don't
As a
deserve
bald
that.
man, as a
Really
bald
feel it?
American, as a balding American, as a follically challenged American.
Follically challenged. There you go. That's the one.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that.
I don't.
No one
I don't
does.
deserve it.
Where's your right wing, left wing Democrat to pipe up for your rights?
Yeah.
I
really.
wonder.
Have you
Where's your
reported this to the
guardian
police?
Democrat?
Or the
We should
double
send some
ACP.
people out.
What is it?
NAACP.
NAACP.
And that's racist for not knowing. Boom.
NABA.
Send an email, verbalassault@gmail.com.
I reported to the NABACP,
Bald, yeah.
The
National Association
something about blood alcohol content.
Balding Americans.
Yeah.
God, I don't know how to. National.
I would think
Letters.
follically challenged. Bald sends a negative connotation.
That's right.
You don't you don't want all your vaginas to be afros now, do you? Well, time to consult Mr. Vodka. How you doing tonight, guys? Verbal Assault Podcast here. I'm not trying to take the reins from Nathan, but now that this horse is going, we're going to keep going. Patrick Everett is not here tonight. So we are going to go straight to Dave.
Straight to Dave.
Dave, what's going on
Patrick's
with
not
you?
here. Straight to Dave.
All right, then. Back to you.
Dave, that,
You don't want to catch
Oh
this
my
basketball
God.
fine. We'll pass the invisible basketball to somebody else and we all get our E for effort.
oh man. Oh.
Becca Penland. Becca
Oh.
got a backdrop. Total power.
Becca got a backdrop. Becca got a bunch of things this
Oh.
week.
Becca Power. Did she get a massage?
She did.
Oh.
Did she get a story?
Looks happy
Yeah.
about it.
Is it time for this?
Oh, I don't know.
Did she call into 865-316-6955?
I don't know. I'm confused.
It's just a teaser.
Yeah, it's just a teaser. We'll get into it later.
Is that the name of the story, or is that just a
Teaser.
description of it?
Capital teaser.
When did we turn into erotic spoken word fan fiction?
We've always been that. Brad, I'm turning it back onto you.
You're going to turn it back on to me?
Yeah, what's going on with you besides vodka?
Well, we haven't actually started vodka. We just poured it. Instead, we had 7-day-old cooking wine where if you only use, a little bit of the bottle to cook with, and then 7 days are up, and it looks like you're going to get drunk while you make dinner. So that's what happened to me. That's where we are. And that's how we got here. Anyway, funny little thing. I enjoyed last week with the lead-in with the preacher. He was good. The thing about the preacher that I like the most, that it's been spoken about because you got to listen to every episode of the podcast. But if you go back and if you listen at half speed, you sound like the drunkest motherfucker that's ever lived. Like you're trying to start the fucking pep rally, clan rally. Like you're going for it, and it's good.
Oh,
But
that's
if you listen at a 1.5 speed, you sound like the most badass motherfucking preacher that's ever lived.
good. Yeah.
You're like, Becca Penland, sexiest voice in the South. She says something, Dave 70, grandfather wisdom, whatever the fuck he said. And then Patrick Everett, he keeps shit moving. And then you go to Steve-O. Steve-O, he takes pictures of rockets, god damn it. It was very impactful.
I like the reenactment. I appreciate that you appreciated it.
That's what the words on paper are for, god damn it. You figured out how to work this pen and paper. I see what all this literacy is about now.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm going to pass the basketball to you.
Pass the basketball to me. Steve-O, how you doing?
Oh man, I almost bought a bottle of wine today, but there were way too many bottles and I couldn't decide, so I just bought beer. But reason for celebration is today, NASA and SpaceX jointly accomplished their flight readiness review, which is a critical milestone in preparation for any NASA mission. And they have determined that March 2nd at 2:48 a.m., DM1 will launch. So that's a week from today. So NASA Social is on. Thursday, I will go and get my badge, and we'll do some kind of preliminary kind of touring type things. And then Friday is like an all on, like we're touring. We get to tour the VAB, which...
Continue.
The VAB is just another acronym. NASA likes their acronyms. It's the Vehicle Assembly Building. You've seen it in pictures. You've probably seen the space shuttle rolling out of it. You've probably seen the Saturn V rocket, which was what sent us to the moon, rolling out of it. This is the building that they constructed in the sense that they took all the pieces and stacked it together. It's
the Lego factory to your rocket factory.
right, yeah. It's the I don't know what's the superlative that they give. It's like the biggest building by volume
Mhm.
or
That's
something, right?
I remember that's what you said. Yeah, I remember that.
And then
Yeah.
it's also the largest single-story building in the world because it's just one floor. So that'll be fucking awesome, just getting to go in there. But we also
It looks like a small mountain.
it looks
in
like a
the
big
distance.
block. Yeah, it's just like
but
a-
I mean,
It's a big ass
the
block.
size
You
of
can
it
see
is
it from when we
very
go deep sea
impressive.
fishing. You'll be able to see the VAB and nothing else from the shore.
right. And apparently we're touring this. I think it's called the Deep Space Food Production Laboratory. So we get. To
I
go
hope that's
see-
where they make the burgers for the Apollo Center
Yeah.
God,
or the Saturn V Center.
Yeah.
If you
food in
have
there is
to.
terrible.
It was
It's
not
good if you
good.
get it when they're
Yeah.
really busy
Ugh.
because it has to be fresh.
Side note, Brad. Both of those names are accurate.
Ooh,
Apollo Center, Saturn V Center is the same.
not that drunk when I go
So-
to Kennedy.
So I'm hoping that we get to try some of this food that they are making
food.
for deep
Space food.
Yeah,
You've had space ice cream though, right?
yeah, but
I have,
ast-
yeah.
You paid
I
the
don't think-
$4.50 for
I
the
don't think
small?
astronauts actually eat that shit. It's-
Steve, I want to go back to something.
Yeah.
When you said you were gonna buy a bottle of wine and then you didn't
Yeah,
because there was too many of
it's
them.
too many to choose from. And
What
I was
happened?
like, fuck it. I don't know what.
Here's
I'm
the thing. It's like it's the same thing with like let's say wine, whiskey, cigars. Here's what you do.
Okay. Teach
Walk
me.
in.
Learn me
All-
good.
Here's all you do.
Keep in mind
Walk
this
in.
will be played at half speed when we go back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Walk in.
I'll sound even more awesome, either half
Oh,
speed or 1.5
even
speed.
More awesome. I'm just kidding.
As long as I could be made more awesome, I'll take it.
All right, there you go. Boom.
Just walk in, pick it up, buy it with confidence. You just buy it.
No.
And then no, listen, you just buy it. Get you a mid-range price.
I'll
Whether
take
it's
this
whiskey-
Moscato and don't you look me in the eye.
I've done all these things. Whether it's whiskey, wine, cigars, these things are people think it's like this big fucking fancy
Like
thing.
all
You
this
got to
shit
know a
you're
lot of
supposed
shit.
to know. Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to know all this shit. Nobody knows anything. The only thing what you learn, the only thing you do is you go out and buy things, and when you start to buy enough of them, you start to learn what you like and what you don't like.
Or
That's it. That's all you do.
I
Yeah.
think wine's a little different because there are so many different types for people
There's
that
a
have
lot of
different
them.
tastes.
I've tried a lot, and most of them I don't like. Like even like Franzia is like the one acceptable
Jesus.
wine that I know it's terrible. I know it's terrible, but it's like that's drinkable to me.
Then I could help you
Yeah.
pick some wine. I could.
Don't pick Moscato.
Well, now
Eagle's saying in the chat that wine gives the worst hangovers, and he's right. It's the sugar.
No.
Don't get Moscato.
I completely disagree with that.
What?
Sack wine gives you a bad
yeah,
hangover.
Sack wine does.
A bottle
Yeah,
of
alright.
decent wine, no hangover whatsoever. I would
Twisted tea.
suggest
not wine.
listen. I would suggest an Argentinian Malbec.
Mhm.
Go for the Malbec.
Malbec.
That's a good starting place.
Is
Yeah.
it dark? Is it
Yeah.
like a man? Because the
Dark
reds,
red wine.
I've never liked red wine. I've never had a red wine that I like. The only thing, okay, it was red colored, but it was a wine that I got from the Apple Barn.
Yeah.
You know, you guys know the Apple Barn.
No.
It was a raspberry apple wine.
Steve-O,
And it
that's shit. It's terrible.
Yeah, you like sweet wine.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's not good.
It's not
wine.
good.
I like it. I like to drink sweet wine.
If it tastes good, then it's
Ne-
good, right?
Oh, if it tastes good,
I
then
thought
it's
you were
good.
just saying
and
it
then
wasn't
the one
good.
after sucks
No,
dick.
well that actually tasted pretty good. And it must be like cold. Like none of this like, kind of room temperature wine bullshit.
Killing me, man. Okay, well, next time we hang out, I'm gonna buy us some wine.
Okay, and
We
you're
No,
gonna,
we
gotta
you're
go
gonna
get
watch.
with you when you buy the wine, and then you gotta walk us through your thinking process.
Yeah.
I
Now,
bet you I
alright.
bet you I could pick a wine that Steve-O would like before you could, even though you are better at picking wine than I am.
You're saying like if you picked wine for a teenage girl, Steve. I would
Right.
like it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair,
You trying to get in his pants or not?
like the only time in my life that I was like tasting multiple different wines was when I was dating. She wasn't a teenager, but I was like 24 and she was like 21. So she was like in that, well, we both were, but in that young age, and she just got on wine. Oh, let's try all this wine, and that's actually where I was introduced to Franzia. But another one that we tried and I ended up liking is Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante. But that's not like a normal wine, right? Because it was like it's carbonated.
That's champagne.
Is it champagne?
Yeah, that's champagne. That's a sweet champagne. Bruce, the not as sweet champagne.
Okay, but one thing I do like is it's got the cork that pops out and can shoot somebody in the eye.
Again, has to 100% champagne.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
mine's
There's
not
champagne in
carbonated.
the fridge. It's not open. If you want to pop a bottle, fuck it.
No, I've had other champagnes. I didn't like it, but this stuff I did.
Well, it's
Today
there.
was National Margarita Day.
It was also the birthday of Steve Irwin. If he
Yes,
were still
and
alive.
I want to
You
talk
mean
about
Chris
that,
Irwin?
actually.
No,
Chris,
I mean
yeah,
Steve
his name
Irwin.
is Chris.
No,
Chris
you mean
Irwin?
Chris.
Fucking Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah,
Irwin.
Chris Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Is this an alternate
I don't know what
timeline
this
like
joke
Chris
is.
You have to
Bears
listen to
right
every
You have to
now?
listen to every episode, even the ones Nathan's not there for.
Even
I
the
don't.
ones that there's only 3 of us on.
It's
Right.
not funny to me. It's nuts. It's fucking Steve Irwin,
All right.
and
All right.
he's dead. He's
Yeah.
dead, people.
Has
Confirmed.
been.
Rip.
Yeah, they had a cool thing on Google where if you it had a picture of him on the front, if you tapped it and you scrolled through, it was like these pictures would animate and shift into the next one.
Uh-huh.
Looking
It's
at
actually
it right
really
now.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually.
And
Look
so
it up right
Wait,
now.
what is it? I
It's
thought
that.
you were talking about like
Go
the
to
Google
Google.com
headline.
and fuck stuff.
Google.
right, if you click on that picture on Google,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Click
just
on
go
it.
to Google.com.
Oh, sweet. All you stream watchers are loving this, but not you audio listeners.
so,
Well,
So-
they'll also be listening on Sunday when this is recorded on Friday.
That's
I saw that earlier and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. I figured it was the anniversary of his death, but it was actually the anniversary of his birthday. So he would have been 57 today. So when I was searching that to figure out what it was, I found this headline, and I was so instantly angry. I wanted to punch somebody. I was eating food at the bar. I wanted to punch somebody. Listen,
Crikey.
so
This is the speed
this is a
bump,
short
guys.
little cricky.
Keep going. God damn it.
Animal rights organization PETA has slammed the Google Doodle tribute to the late Australian conservationist and zookeeper Steve Irwin. In a statement to Daily Mail Australia on Friday, PETA president Ingrid Newkirk said, quote, PETA must ask who commissioned these dangerous hagiographic cartoons of a man who died while harassing a stingray, dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile, and wrestled with wild animals who were minding their own business. This fawning, ignorant tribute is a slap in the face to the vast majority of people who acknowledge that wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats.
Okay.
This was written by someone who knew nothing about Steve Irwin.
This is a president of PETA.
Right.
Well, the president of PETA is also sending animal shelter pets to their death, so, they're completely without fault here.
I can't
You
descri-
understand.
I can't describe what a fucking ignorant piece of trash this person is.
he didn't
I-
wrestle
I-
with wild animals, by the way.
I
Right?
s- I
They
so-
were- they were all in a zoo.
Well, here's the thing. When he started out, so he was like 18 years old, and so Australia has saltwater crocodiles. These are the huge ones that are actually they can become man eaters.
Mhm.
Well, like we have alligators in Florida. They're not considered man eaters. Like
No.
it happens very occasionally, and usually it's because they thought that you were, a fucking groundhog or something by the
Or
side
you
of
were
it.
too close to their nest.
Right. They're usually mistakes when that happens, but crocodiles can actually start to look at humans as a food source.
Mm-hmm.
So when Steve Irwin was super young, what would happen is like there would be these problem crocodiles in areas that would start to get too normalized to being around people, and they would get used to being around people. Sometimes people would feed them, throw them food and shit,
Yeah.
and they would get in close and they'd become dangerous. So he was contracted by the government to basically go in and catch these crocodiles and relocate them to unpopulated areas so they wouldn't be shot, because otherwise they would just kill the things. They would
Right.
just shoot them.
Yep.
So he would go into these areas by himself. He would set traps. So the way they used to do traps, they would have these they would set up huge steel cages,
Mhm.
and they would have these traps with a they piece of meat hanging in the back. So the crocodile would go in, it would slam the cage down. The crocodile would freak out, thrash around, injure itself,
Right.
do a lot. You could possibly do a lot of damage. So he built traps that were complete. They were just nets.
Mm.
They were all rope, and they would trap these fucking 15-foot crocodiles, 12, 15 foot crocodiles. They would get wrapped up in this net. He would go in as they were in the net, and he would snake a line in, risking his own life. He would snake a rope into its jaws and get it around its upper jaw. Then he would jump on top of it by himself. He would set up a camera in a fucking tree, and he would jump on this crocodile, get a blanket over its eyes so it would calm down, and then he would get its bottom jaw too, and then he would rope both jaws together.
Right.
Because like crocodiles, they don't have a lot of opening power with their jaws.
Right.
Like if you can get a rope around each one, you can close their mouth.
Yeah.
All the power is for closing, not opening.
Right.
And then once he had the rope around both, he was able to basically by himself, he would use a fucking winch and pull that fucking crocodile into his boat, and then fucking drive it for hours out to a different place.
Jesus.
So this guy risked his life for these fucking animals that otherwise would have been shot.
Right.
And he would go around, he would catch snakes and do these same kind of things, and basically risk himself just to educate people on these animals. In Australia, how many of those animals are deadly venomous creatures? Spiders, snakes. There's
Most
more
of
of them there than anywhere in the world, concentration of venomous species. So he risked himself, and obviously he ended up dying in a freak accident from that. So,
Right.
like I say, I've said it before on this show, that guy used to be my hero when I was a teenager growing up.
Mhm.
I mean, like I was a kid, my dad had snakes, and I had a caiman once, turtles, and all kinds of shit. So this idea that this person would say this stupid fucking thing, it's obviously like these people don't actually care about animals.
No. Yeah. We have
They
a
like
habit
the
of.
idea of a cute critter, but they're really just using it as a political fucking bludgeon to force through their politics, and it fucking pisses me off. Really pisses me off.
We've got a habit in this country of protesting things we know very little about.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I also think it's hilarious that PETA is not willing to do the research. They're more willing to figure out when it comes to Google, and they're like, "Oh, we got one thing we can Google. We can either is this guy a piece of shit or how to make fake blood to throw on the coats."
Yeah.
And
I did my research.
no prizes for which one they actually Googled, which Google wasn't really a thing when they were doing the fake blood on coats, but still, regardless, they would rather cast the blame than ensure that somebody who had nothing to do with it was not unnecessarily slandered. But
It's more about attention, I think, than actually enacting any kind of change or even caring what that change would be or what.
Well, they're
changing.
changing it. Fuck
They're-
these people.
PR department's doing great getting people on the cause.
Not that I would be interested in joining them, but there's got to be some mission statement that kind of sums up how they feel about, because they are different than the ASPCA. Completely, they're not the same thing. And a lot of people kind of confuse that with between them. So and if I'm not mistaken, PETA, no one's supposed to have a pet. They're all supposed to be wild. And again, I don't know this. I'd like to look at a mission statement because some of this stuff,
I got
I
your
don't
mission
even-
statement right here.
Yeah, I looked it up too. Here you go. Go ahead.
People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, is dedicated to establishing and protecting the rights of animals. Oh, sorry, it says all animals. PETA operates under the simple principle that animals are not ours to eat, wear, experiment on, or use for entertainment.
all right. But as far as building nice homes and encroaching on their territory, there's really nothing they say about that, right? 'Cause-
yeah, no, that is not included.
I mean, ethical treatment. I always knew that was what PETA stood for.
I think
knew
I think
that.
they're only referring to the way you actually treat an animal, like directly. You know what I mean? Like they're not interested in the indirect. It's more about fluffy bunnies than actual environmental impact or anything along those lines.
Welcome.
But doesn't that seem ethical?
What seem ethical?
Maybe that's moral. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, ethical is more like just kind of a not scientific, but like a generalized term for morality, because morality is kind of objective.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a reason why you can only hunt certain things on certain days, and there's a lot of it has to do with the culling, and so obviously they wouldn't
management.
believe in this. So, in order for animals and people to live and cohabitate in a non-druid society, I don't. I'm just curious as to what their plan would be ultimately for that. How much
jobs.
equal treatment do animals get? I mean, if you're not allowed to kill them, eat them, and they're allowed to procreate and dominate their overpopulate. I don't know. I mean, I guess they say that the food chain will take care of itself.
Right. You mean like something like deer, where there's no more natural predators,
Yeah.
and they breed out of control and they become a problem.
Coyotes. I mean, even at some point, there's going to be too much of it all, and I just don't. I don't know. I think there's a valuable place for hunting. I think it's
maybe
valuable.
deep down,
Absolutely.
the PETA people just want all humans destroyed. They just
Destroy all humans.
No, because that's
fucking
part of
says
their
nothing
name.
about it.
People they can't destroy themselves. Otherwise, there'd be no one there
But the
for the
ultimate-
ethical treatment of animals.
the ultimate way for people to ethically treat animals would be to remove ourselves.
This is very much this is very much a line of argument. Humans need to die to save the earth.
Yeah.
There are people that say that all the time.
Well, that is not going to work, and I'll tell you why. Because there are a lot of natural extinction events that have happened. Well, they've all been natural, but there's some that take place just on the Earth. But there's a lot of them that have. Well, I don't know. Maybe a lot isn't a good word, but some of them happen from space, and we're the only species that can stop those from happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the only ones that can kind of mitigate some of the others. I mean, if Yellowstone blows up, then everybody's fucked. But some other things, like incoming asteroid, I mean, climate change. I mean, we've probably started it, but we can also help mitigate it. And I think that there will come a time long after we're gone where we're able to sort of control the climate. Because eventually there'd probably be a natural ice age, and we can help the Earth not go into an ice age. But just like one of the topics in discussion is global warming. How do we mitigate that?
Climate change.
I think
Climate change.
I think eventually we'll have total control over the climate, and that will be the best thing for the Earth and all of its inhabitants, including the fluffy bunnies.
We can all vote on if we want like a rainy day or a sunny day.
No, not weather. I don't
Wouldn't that
think
be
we'll-
sweet?
I don't
Wouldn't that
think
be
we'll-
awesome? It'd be like on Star Trek. Like they have it. It's like that on Star Trek. They can control it to that degree. Like
Oh,
on
yeah?
the planet. Oh yeah. They can
I
control.
just figured they just go to the holodeck and get whatever day they want.
No, I don't mean
wherever
on
they
a
want.
ship. I just mean like actually, if on planet, they control the weather. Yeah. But I wanted to point out too, real quick. Like I think your average hunter knows more about nature and conservation than someone in PETA.
Yeah,
And you
I agree with
And
that.
I would like to hear from Jerry on this too, because he hunts a lot.
Mhm.
But I can remember when I was hunting when I was a teenager, deer hunting mostly, some squirrel hunting. When you're out there and you're sitting in a tree stand or in your blind or wherever you're at, you can do nothing but sit there and be quiet and pay attention. And you never are you going to feel more like a part of nature than when you're doing that.
Yep.
Like it's a very different kind of thing than like even if you're like say on a hike or whatever. But if you're hunting and you were like thinking like, I have this mission I have to do, and I have to be really patient and really pay attention and not fuck up.
That's absolutely true.
Very
Like
different.
hiking, you are constantly moving and making noises while you're doing it. But yeah, when you're hunting, if you're sitting at a tree stand or something, you give it 30, 45 minutes, you will become just a part of the scene. And as long as, you got all your camouflage on, you're being real still and quiet, the forest will act like you're not even there.
Mhm.
And actually, it's really cool. It's even cooler than the shit you see hiking or like driving through Cades Cove. Like you see animals in their natural habitat pretending you're not even there because they don't know you're there. It's actually a pretty cool thing. I used to love when I was sitting in a tree stand watching the squirrels jump from like up in the canopy, up in like these oak hammocks. The fucking the ground was mostly clear. Like you could see pretty clear. It was almost like being like those pictures you see like of rainforest or something where like all the leaves and shit, it's all up above you. And you see these squirrels like jumping from limb to limb, and it's pretty impressive what they can do. But I saw one, he was probably 100 feet off the ground and he missed his limb and fell all the way to the ground. And he just kind of like got up and like kind of looked around. It was very human-esque the way he acted, and then
He was worried that another squirrel had
like
seen him.
saw him, and then he just kind of limped away. He was like, "Fuck, that hurt." Like he did not pounce away. He just kind of limped away.
Kegel says we should watch Geostorm.
Right now,
Says they can. No.
Yeah.
Right now.
Does this have The Rock in it?
I don't know. It says they control the weather with satellites all over the world. All was good until it was hacked. It's an awful movie. Must see for a laugh.
It's got the guy from 300 in it, I think. Gerard Butler. I've heard it's a good movie.
I can't remember. There's 300 guys there. How do you know which one of the 300?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Get with it.
Well, speaking of Jerry, you said you wanted to hear from Jerry about the hunting. He had sent me an article that he wanted me to share with you guys, and I concur. It's very funny. I just emailed a link to you, Steve-O, because pictures are very necessary for this one.
Hold on, just take me a second. Oh no, I don't have the thing up. Oh no, guys. Oh no, I don't have the extra window up that has Dave looking like a thumb.
Oh no.
That's awesome.
It'll just take me a
I
second.
was wondering why I hadn't seen it.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now it's up. Don't worry, guys. It's up. It's just so you don't see my inbox. That's all. Oh, that goddamn video. That Brad sent me that. Oh, there's Becca Pinlan's. Okay. And
That's me.
New tab. And we got it. All right.
All right, so this is called, the article is titled, Claws Are Out.
Oh, and it comes from, oh wait, it comes from the sun. What is this fabulous?
It comes from the sun.
Is that a fact?
Fabulous, I think, is like probably the category of
Okay.
news on this.
Yeah,
My favorite category of news is the one categorized as fabulous.
I like the fabulous news. The fake news is not as good as the fabulous.
Where's
news.
my vodka?
Fabulous?
Do you want to talk about it or do you want to hear it?
I want to drink vodka while you tell me about it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Becca.
All right, claws are out. Shocked mom slams inappropriate Willie on her 4-year-old son's toy lion as she calls for them to be banned.
Oh wait, let's share.
Get
The
your
but wait, it
male
says the toy
patriarchy
lion was
penis
the,
out of here.
says the toy lion was the only one which was anatomically correct.
Yeah,
As the Lord intended.
this is another
Was it
story.
inappropriate, Willie?
Oh, he's got a cock and bull.
He's got a little Willie. I can't
Cock and
see a
balls.
Willie.
Look at his face.
Right there.
Full of
Right there.
disdain
Okay.
and
Yeah.
displeasure.
There's a better up close picture of it. The further you go
I
down.
need to go down. Okay.
Show me that Willie.
Oh, look at that!
Look at that.
Wow.
This reminds me of that sheep with the hole in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, read
That
the
is
article,
crazy.
Becca. Oh, and you got to do a terrible British accent. I mean,
It's,
just a
well,
British.
it's from
British
Australia, and I have
So
been
good.
told
Dude, what,
many
Mike?
times how terrible my Australian accent is. So I'm just
It
gonna
is-
stick
It'll
to
be no,
that.
but that'll make it perfect, especially
It's a-
because
No.
it's Steve
It's a
Irwin Day.
Jamaican.
Steve Irwin Day. Come on.
Let's
It's a
hear it.
Jamaican
I
Irish
can't
accent.
do this. I can't.
Oh, come on.
I don't have time to prepare.
Oh, dude.
Uh,
We went in their local Kmart. Me 3 youngest picked out their own toys. They were really happy with them. And then one of the twins turned out lying around, and my daughter yelled out, "Look, Mom, the lion's got Willie." And they all started laughing. Neither of the other 2 toys had genitalia, but Tonya questioned why it was on the lion in the first place. Steve-O, scroll down.
Sorry, I just found
See,
where
and
you were.
I thought it was really inappropriate. In this day and age, it's not acceptable to have things like that on a children's toy. Scroll down.
This
Steve-O.
day and age.
Scroll down. All right. I bought a lot of toys, and my house is full of toys, but I've never seen anything like this before. It's so stupid and just plain weird. Quite the
Plain
anatomically correct lion catching her by surprise. Tonya added she could see the funny side of the situation.
Hey, stop real quick. Look at the ad beside
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
It's got the lady covering up her parts. While the
Yeah.
Is
kid's
the
got
full
the thing
show
in
on
front of their
private parts too much, or something
That's a-
every woman should watch? Veterinarians, add this one thing to your cat's food to help them
And then,
fuck off. Is the only
and
thing
then
I
right
can
under it, there's a
imagine
picture of a
after that.
cute little pussy.
And then
Like,
under
talking
that
about Ron
pussy is a
Howard?
different looking pussy.
Yeah.
Is that Ron Howard right there? Ron Howard, son of a bitch, I called it. Lives in his mansion with his partner. I wonder what that means.
And look at the final picture. It's that's
Lady
just
Gaga
It's a
naked.
born
lineup.
this way too.
It's
Damn hard.
That's a
Mom.
UK news website for you. That's what they're like. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
fake
god.
pubic hair. They're private, Jimmy Jims.
What?
Anyway, back to the story.
Yeah, read the rest of that story.
She said, I was really shocked. I mean, it's funny as well as you can't help but laugh, but it's still not appropriate for a child's toy that's on full display in the kids section. My kids thought it was hilarious, though.
Neither
there's
of
no
the 2
picture.
toys had genitalia, and they've got all their asses lined up.
That's right.
At the
She-
zoo, they kept lifting up their tails and showing strangers walking past Ryan's bits as they walked by and yelling, "Willie!" It was so embarrassing. Well, despite her understanding attitude, Tonya is pushing for Kmart to pull the toys from its shelves. As she claims, it's up to parents to decide when to bring the subject up of genitalia.
Wait,
Most
so
surprising
how
thing
old
to
are these
me
Take
kids?
everything away from Kmart.
That's the thing I'm most surprised about is that there's Kmart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kmart's alive and well in Australia.
Yeah.
Southern Australia.
Oh.
Well,
It's the only
obviously.
bit of Australia where you can live on, mate.
I'm not surprised they've still got Kmart.
Walmart or Kmart only does good in the south of whatever country it's in.
South Hemisphere.
Well, all right. Well, so she's a fucking idiot.
Why is she an idiot?
She doesn't know what bits are the lion's parts.
What?
What?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, the lion just happens to be the only one with its tail raised. The other ones have the little bits too. They're just underneath their tail.
No.
No, they don't.
I've
I
never
ain't take
seen a
much
toy
in
with
animal biology, Steve, but I'm gonna say their bits would take up a little bit more than the tail.
You think?
Steve Irwin show you if he was still around.
His name's Chris.
Uh,
No, hey, no,
Not
no,
sure
that one's
about
not
that.
funny anymore, Steve.
Oh, right.
We can't make that joke anymore.
Not funny.
We vetoed
Yeah.
it.
not funny.
Scratch it.
Different accent.
Well,
Yes.
thank you,
Long
Becca.
silence.
Yeah. So,
Silence.
so Australia's going down the same dark path.
Yeah, clearly.
How dare you open a door for my children to ask me about willies? I mean,
How
look,
dare
these
you
kids look
touch
like
my
about the
dog
right
and
age
call
to be like, wait, how come my bits don't look like her bits? Or his bits or their bits.
I'd say I'd be
Not
at
her,
the age
not
of
the girl,
laughing at
maybe.
you,
The girl's a
but-
little younger, but these boys, I mean, what are they, like 7 or 8?
I'm
I don't
still at the
think
age
so.
of laughing at genitalia.
Not the laughing, I'm saying like asking, like, oh, they saw some bits. They're like, oh, that looks like my bits.
You give me a good fart noise, I'll give you.
And then you say, yeah, animals have those bits too. Some of them look different. Some of them look very similar.
And then you explain how gender is on a spectrum. There you go. There's your
Maybe that's
segue
it.
for your kids.
Maybe that's it. They're waiting. They're waiting until their kids decide what gender they are. They're waiting until they're 18 to start talking about genitalia.
They're waiting till they're 6.
Yeah, didn't we talk about something where you weren't supposed to talk about hims and hers stuff early on? They were some kind of teaching movement. Didn't we address that in the previous show?
Babies.
We also talked about a baby not giving consent for them to change the diaper and expose their own genitalia. We talked about that too. That's a thing.
It's a thing,
Silent!
all right.
You know, it's like what they say. Silence means consent. So that's why we started at 10:30. Because when I text everybody, I said, "Is everybody okay with 10:30?" Nobody said anything except for Becca saying, "Why is a further distance a further distance?" And then, and so since nobody objected, we just started at 10:30.
I mean, it sounded perfectly reasonable. She asked the only question that was on my mind, like, why does it
Why is
take
a further
longer?
thing
Oh,
further?
it is. Oh, yeah, okay, because you're driving from Knoxville every Friday. That's why.
I'm always driving from Knoxville. Yeah.
Yeah.
All day, every day, driving from.
And I had this
Fuck out here.
thing going in my head that whole time about like space and like what space actually is. And then I was thinking about like, well, space is actually expanding. And then I was wondering like if space is expanding and if we see people think of space as just like all this empty shit that's out there.
Mhm.
But we're in space too.
We're in
just
space.
because we're on the planet, we're in space.
Right.
And if space is expanding, I was wondering if that meant that if we're on this substrate of space, like say if you think of it as a flat sheet of paper and that sheet of paper is stretching out,
Yeah.
if we're drawings on that paper, does that mean actually everything we're made of is actually also expanding too? Is all of the molecules, the atoms and everything that makes us up, is that also expanding with the space? And then I'm asking myself, well, if that was the case, would we even be able to detect that was the case? But I know we can detect it because the distant galaxies it's expanding so fast, it's going faster than the speed of light, right?
It's the speed the speed at which it's expanding is accelerating. That's what it's not faster than the speed of light yet, but they're saying that like at some point it will be. Yeah.
So that's I started thinking about all that shit just because Becca said, "Why are you further than you're further?" Becca, you're muted.
You're welcome.
I want a job where I can take mushrooms and then drive home. Anyway,
and
interesting
hey,
no, that's
theory.
me every day. That's what happens in my head every day now.
Just in case anyone's like, yeah, wait, what the fuck? What about that? Well, it's not that like the fabric of space is expanding. As far as I understand it, like that's where dark matter and dark energy come in. Like pretty much everything is operating the way it should be, but there's some sort of a force that is pushing matter away from other matter, but gravity still holds, and like the electromagnetic forces that hold atoms together, that's all still strong enough to overcome for the most part. Like our solar system stays together and the galaxy stays together, but there's some kind of force. That's why they call it dark matter and dark energy, because they don't know what it is, but there's something that repels stuff. I mean, if stuff is clustered together and it's close enough that its gravity is strong enough to hold it together, it'll stay together. So in the future, it could be that we only have our small cluster of galaxies near us, but then lots of other galaxies are like way far away, and eventually those our cluster of galaxies will come together and they'll eventually merge into one, and then it'll probably just be our galaxy. Like when you listen to like what's his name, Brian Cox, he's a astrophysicist or maybe just physicist or whatever, but he works at CERN, the big particle accelerator. I've heard him talk about like in the future, like if we don't maintain our records, say we had another like Library of Alexandria kind of situation, and we didn't maintain our records, in the future at some point, they would look out into the universe and they would see our galaxy, but that's all they would see. And they would assume that the Milky Way galaxy, that's all there is. They would have no reason to think otherwise. And they would be completely reasonable to come to that conclusion that the entire universe exists in this galaxy. Of course, by then we will have merged with the Andromeda galaxy. It'll be a different thing, but they will be completely reasonable to assume that this is all there is, when really
because
there's
it goes so far out so fast that the light then cannot reach us. And it keeps going. The light can't reach us.
Exactly.
But it's not that everything is expanding. It's just that things are being pushed out.
Yeah, there's some kind of a force. It's like
okay,
gravity,
that doesn't freak me out as
opposite.
much. Then I'm freaking out less. Then
Right.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my interpretation of it might freak you out a little bit more because mine was considering the fact maybe space-time is expanding and the fabric of space-time and the matter that brings up you and everything you know and love is slowly expanding, but seeing as the universe has been expanding for billions and billions of years, every day it expands a billionth of a percent. Yeah. But over your entire lifetime.
That's what Stephen Hawking said. Cut hair.
Expands a cut hair every day.
It expands a cut hair there, love. But it would be one of those things like even during your entire lifetime, it wouldn't have expanded even 0.1%, but you wouldn't be able to perceive it anyway just because of it being such a fraction of an expansion.
It's so gradual, yeah.
I think everything expands so much that it's all relative. So we are 10 times larger than we were 100 years ago.
That's what I was thinking. And the thing is, if that did happen, we wouldn't know.
The rulers would be longer too.
Yeah,
rulers are longer.
If everything was,
yeah, it would all grow in relation to each other. Yeah,
we wouldn't know.
You wouldn't have any idea.
We would have no way of knowing.
We started off really
That's what I was saying.
If you had a guy that was traveling in a rocket ship so far away and then would come back, he'd be a tiny person.
That's if you took him from like the 1930s and sent him around the moon.
He'd come back to Earth and go, "What the fuck? Gulliver's Travel, some reverse shit going on here."
We need to try to get an astrophysicist on this show. There's got to be somebody that's willing to waste their time with us.
Yeah,
or at least a cartoon character, someone that plays one on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is not the only astrophysicist.
No. I want some nerd, like living alone. He's like 50. He's a super genius. He never talks to anyone.
He's the greeter at the local planetarium.
Right.
Giorgio
Yeah.
Tsoukalos, that's who you want.
Yeah, he speaks 12 languages.
Yeah, he's been through a lot, but he's retired now. He's just he's taking ticket
Super
stubs
genius.
at the planetarium just to pass the time. He likes talking to people.
I've got the perfect guy. I'll get back to you.
He feeds the pigeons. He likes pigeons.
Is that the guy who gave you the massage?
No, it's the flat earther, I think.
No, it's none of the people. It's no one. I made it up.
Oh.
It's like, if my hands and your butt expand at the same rate, then I would never know the size of my hands in relation to your butt.
Ever.
You didn't
My
get a
mind is
massage
blown.
this week? All right, then. Keep your secrets.
What? What?
Did you see that the owner of the Patriots just got busted today for soliciting a prostitute at a massage parlor?
Good job.
Why?
Throw that
In
article
Florida.
Yeah, I just did. As soon as he said it, I was like, all right.
Oh, did somebody have that?
Yeah, that's
Dave.
Dave.
That was Dave's. Nice.
Kegel mentioned it earlier too. Yeah, I saw this. I got the news on my text today, and I saw that, and I went, "Holy shit!" And Todd was just leaving. I ran outside, and I had to tell Todd, man, it made his day.
You're downplaying how that went. You are
Yeah,
downplaying
you are.
it. You fucking took
Todd lost
off.
his shit, started
I'm a-
honking his horn on the way out of the parking lot.
Because Todd hates the Patriots.
We know Todd.
Yeah, he hates that whole organization.
He's like,
top
finally,
down.
Tennessee doesn't have to play the Patriots.
Yeah, fucking finally.
No, so yeah, but I think one of the coolest things about it is I mean, let's keep in mind, I'm not villainizing it. It's just funny, and he's of such notoriety, and he's really old, and I guess old people are deserving of sex too. But
They want hand jobs like the rest of us, Dave.
I mean,
We're all deserving.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
American right to have a hand job.
So,
Florida.
but the name it was they busted a ring of these spas, and keep in mind it's only 2 misdemeanor charges, but it's all recorded. There's video of every encounter with every individual.
Wow.
So
Why?
That
Um,
sucks.
probably for the protection of my girls. So,
My girl.
so, but the name of the place is I can't find it now. It's in here. Where is it?
Orchids of Asia Day Spa.
Oh, don't-
Orchids of Asia Day Spa.
Don't worry,
Real- oh.
I'm already Google mapping the
I
nearest
see
location.
Steve O's
Jupiter.
planning us a day trip right now.
All right,
So-
closest one.
Spring break, baby.
Let's see. Where's my distance?
So he owns a home in Palm Beach County, and
Call the number.
It's but anyways, the spa was among 10 that were shut down in the Orlando area. The sad thing about it is it has to do with human trafficking.
The sad thing about it.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing
kind of
for
a bump. It's kind of a bumper there.
yeah, it's one thing for
Bumper
a
for your boner.
consenting lady to go, this is what I do and this is how I get paid, and don't mess with me. But when you're dealing with people who don't have a say so in the matter, that's different.
It's only 2 hours away, Brad.
Oh well, see you next Monday.
So the rest of the stuff just talks about craft. I just thought it would be funny to because it was in a massage parlor, and it might segue into something Becca was talking about. But it was really funny today when I saw that. I was, holy crap! It's going to be some ripples from this.
So do they know for a fact these women are basically sex slaves? Is that the
Yeah, that's
the
what
claim
they
that's being
created
made?
the ring. It was a big bust, so they kind of busted all of. No, it wasn't just this one; it was 10 others, and
And look
You
who
know.
comes strolling in.
yeah,
Patrick
The
here?
owner of the Patriots.
yeah. But
Patrick?
in that 12-minute long episode, they just outright name him right there and say that he is one of the people, and I'm not sure why they name him, but it's public record. He's being charged with a misdemeanor in Florida, 2 misdemeanor counts of solicitation for prostitution.
Oh no, he'll plead guilty and pay a small fine.
Probably,
Oh,
yeah.
No, I sure hope they
He's
win the
already
Super Bowl to
denied.
offset those costs next year.
Well, the organization has already denied that he did
This lady is the one giving out hand jobs to everybody. If you
Does she look
at the
familiar, Becca?
Mixer.com
I can't see
/Wilson.
any-
Yeah, we can't see it. Can we see
No,
this,
I was
Steven?
going to say,
Yeah.
imagine her with a phone and a Diet Coke in her hand.
Becca, is that the woman you saw brushing her teeth?
I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
can't see. Oh, there she is.
That's
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, that's
That-
Jennifer. She,
That's Jennifer. Yeah, my name's Jennifer. I use Colgate.
I said, be here now. I said
My name is
today.
Jennifer. You want massage? You pick number.
I'm a hammer, don't work.
Colgate 3D. I say be here this morning. Morning.
I forgot they had
10:30.
pictures.
Yeah, she doesn't look happy.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Well, she got busted. That's why.
Facial treatment.
Google Street View.
She got to work the
Table
register and
Table shower.
everybody else
Table
got to work
shower.
the dick.
What is
What's a table shower?
that
We
sounds
They
fun.
just have a shower head on
Yeah.
a nozzle, and they just
We're gonna
here you go. That'll be $30.
We need somebody to check that out for us.
Look, he's
I'm your
typing
man
it
on the
as we
inside.
speak.
I got
Table
it.
shower
Yeah.
is another term for a Vichy shower. It is a table that has 3 or more shower heads above it. It is used when you have a mud wrap or a body scrub or something like that, and you need to. This is like normal.
Sounds
speak.
pretty good.
And you need to be
Sounds pretty
hosed
good.
off afterwards. Some places
Hell yeah,
have
I want to
tradition-
pay money to be hosed off by another person.
Some places
Hell
have
yeah.
traditional showers attached to treatment rooms, while others have a table shower.
Hey, Steve-O, read the Urban Dictionary version
Yeah, I
of
was
that.
just
Yeah.
looking
Oh,
at that.
okay.
Let me read the Urban
Table
Dictionary.
shower. Okay, go ahead.
Washing of the body parts by another person, usually Asian women, while lying on a table. First face down on your back so particular attention can be paid to private parts.
I mean, that's
They-
advertised right there in the window. Table shower.
And if
come
you are
on.
man enough, you can have 2 happy endings.
Bro, I just got the best table shower, and she definitely knew what she was doing. LOL.
That's great.
So there you go. That's what I brought to the table.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, after you get done wiping your semen off the table.
They offer massage and facials, but you're the one doing the facial.
That's right.
Mhm.
Aw. Well, I think that
and
is the
there's your
perfect.
fella right there. That's him
Ready to be
proudly,
jerked off.
proudly receiving the whatever the trophy's called for the Super Bowl. What's it called?
Lombardi Trophy.
Thank you, Dave. I knew we could.
He
count.
looks
Who's this
looks
guy?
like a a very aged
Wait, there's a-
5-year-old boy.
There he is.
Look
Yeah.
at him.
This is my trophy.
I'm taking it to the spa. I'm gonna see where she'll let me
I'm
put it.
keeping this in my
Look at it. It's
Cover
got a Willie on it.
It's called Willie on the back of that dead football.
Well, that is the perfect segue into my topic of conversation this evening.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so me and Nathan had a bet, right? You guys remember the bet? It was 2 Matthew McConaughey's on
Oh shit.
since the last time I went to get my massage, nothing real creepy happened. Nathan bet me that the next time he would do something ultra creepy.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
So
go.
I'm gonna have to tell you the story, and then
Got
we'll
it ready.
decide together who wins this bet.
I'm gonna go ahead and pour a Nathan McConaughey,
Nathan McConaughey.
which is made of vodka and
Becca, if I
a
win
Christmas
this,
shot glass that says "Get lit" with Christmas.
if I
lights
win
on
this, I'm sending this your way.
How?
it. Carrier
next
pigeon.
week. Next week.
Okay.
Bring it into work.
Yeah. All right. So on Tuesday, I did something really stupid. I mean, it was just an accident. I was walking.
Go on.
I was walking and I tripped and I fell.
No
and
way.
Never heard of it.
fell fucking hard. Like,
Never heard of it.
Brad, if I had hit my head a little harder, we would have been twins. I do have a couple little scratches, but it's nothing like it's. nothing
Turns out it just made me more handsome. Your kind words have fallen on ears that will hear them now. I'm like, damn, Becca was right. I do look good.
I told you. I told you.
No, I look badass. I look scary now with this ridiculous mustache. When I give the angry Red Dead, I'm gonna kill you face. Anyway, it's not about me.
Anyway,
It's about your masseuse.
that's what this is all about. It's what everything's about.
Boy,
So-
tell him how they rubbed you down now, love.
I'm not there yet. So I fell. I hurt myself. I have my knees are fucked. My neck is fucked. And I went to work the next day, and it was miserable. I felt like I got hit by a truck. So I was like, I wonder if getting a massage would help. If it would because my neck was really sore. You know that feeling when you I guess the closest thing I can say is whiplash. Like when your neck moves really fast and then it's really sore for a couple of days.
Yeah.
It felt like that, and I thought maybe they can work it out and I can get this bet over with. And so I call and I make an appointment for right after work, and I go and I get in the room and I tell him. He says, "So how you feeling?" I say, "Well, I did fall down yesterday and I kind of hurt myself a little bit." And he was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, it's a
You
fake
you
reaction,
faded out.
love.
Did he-
That's what
Did
he
he-
did.
He
He was
disappeared.
did he?
No, all the
Did he
molecules
go?
in his body separated from
Yeah.
expansion. And he
It's
just-
like
go.
how Thanos kills the people and they turn into tiny triangles and fade away. That's how. That's
like-
what happened to him.
Oh no.
and then he fell down
Oh,
into
no.
a bottomless pit.
Steve, I'm gonna send you a little Giphy gif here.
All right, send it in the chat or the Hangout because it's actually
Alright.
it pops right up right there.
Okay,
Alright.
so he said, "Oh no," and then he
Oh,
faded
no.
away.
And he looked at my scrapes on my face and he touched it and he was like, "What happened?" And I told him I
What
fell.
happened?
he was so soft spoken and concerned about it. And I was like, "Really, I'm just telling you, you might want to avoid my knees because there is a wound there, and also they hurt really bad." So he was like, well, what else hurts? Like, where else did you fall? Like, what did you fall on?
Did you say my pussy?
pussy.
Air horn. 3, 2, 1.
My clitoris especially hurts.
My clitoris hurts.
All right, so I told him the spots that hurt. I told him.
Wait, what spots were those?
I'm going through.
Did any of them
now.
start with a
Okay.
G?
I don't know.
That'd be a serious wound.
What starts with a G?
G spot?
What
I don't know.
spot starts with G?
God. Oh, Lord. Loaded
Steve,
day.
coming in hot.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
loaded day.
Might as well ask her why the thing that's further away from the other thing is further away from the other thing.
Stop.
That's what happens
was-
in this little.
I was
little part
confused. All right, so I told him it's right here on my face, my neck.
This is
My-
him fading away.
Yeah, that's what happened to Becca's clitoris.
Oh man.
No, Becca, go ahead. Continue with the story. Go ahead.
All right, so I tell him all the spots, my knees, my stomach. I felt like I almost bruised a rib. I don't know how that happened, but it hurt to breathe. It hurt to move. So we start off the massage, and it's raining, and he has decided this time we're not using the CD player. This time, because last time and all the times that I've been there, it's always been the same CD on a CD player. It's like the Lord of the Rings fucking Shire music.
Yeah.
This time he decides to play what sounds like
Steve-O.
jazz
Yeah.
music,
Kenny
but
G.
it's like chill jazz.
Spa radio.
No, it's more like, I can't think of the word to describe it. It's like listening to jazzy elevator music.
Steve-O, pull up some
Smooth
Kenny G and play that
jazz.
now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Rippingtons. Kenny G, Rippingtons.
Let me send you my Pandora Smooth Jazz station, Steve-O.
This is a lot to process for Steve-O right now.
Yeah, because you sent me some video that looks like it needs to be.
Oh,
played
go
with
ahead.
audio.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just
get
play
that.
the
I'm trying
Kenny
to
G.
just give you the clicks. So do it. Do
Yeah,
what you want.
Click it right.
Just go with Kenny G, and
Click
I
then
got you, man.
click
Don't
that.
worry.
we just need background music to the rest of Becca's story.
And it
Yeah.
better
All right,
fucking start
Steve-O.
right into the music. No ads.
Background music in 3, 2, 1.
Smooth jazz.
Right. Okay.
All right, now we got to load up. It's going to ask me if I want to log in. We're having trouble loading Pandora.
God,
All
This
right.
is not nearly
This
as
is-
smooth as last time.
Yeah, this is
Smooth
podcast
jazz.
cancer.
It was almost like it was planned last time, and it wasn't at all.
Yeah, it wasn't Kenny G either, but I can do Kenny G.
I know. I was just saying, like, just pull it up on YouTube, just like bam, right there, get it going. Well,
Writing's not
Becca,
that easy.
Well,
Oh, Jesus.
there's ads.
a real
It's
sensual,
not that
fuck.
a
easy.
sensual ad.
Running a podcast is not that easy.
Here we go. There we go.
No, just keep it on my heart. Will go on, like Kenny G. Put
All
that-
right, Becca.
All right, so he's playing this smooth jazz music,
Smooth
and
jazz.
for the first half of the massage, he describes to me the problems that he's having at home with his wife.
Yeah.
As one would while he's massaging you with a wedding ring. Go on.
So he's telling me about how she's selfish and how she's leaving and taking the kids, but she's only doing that to upset him, and I'm just
Fucking bitch.
laying there getting touched for money while he's telling me these things. So the second half of the massage, which is the face up half,
Was
of
when
the
he was
massage-
talking about how he was looking to have an affair.
The first half
No.
is the face down. The second half is the ass up.
Face up part.
You start off on your laying on your stomach, and then you flip over halfway through. So anyway,
So
That's
do you
the
have
ass
a
up part.
towel here?
yes,
I mean,
of
No
Is there-
towel. No
is there a
towel.
towel?
You know who you're talking to. This ain't her
Yeah, it's
first
actually
rodeo.
it's a good process. It's a sheet, and they hold it over you so that you can situate yourself and turn around, and then they put it back.
Yeah, and they never take peeks.
No, never.
I keep looking at the stream and seeing the dog that's getting the small haircut and the music, and it's right. It feels right.
The small haircut.
You'll see it if you watch the stream.
Oh yeah. So all right, Becca, where we going?
All
Let
right.
the music take you away.
So the
That works
top,
really well.
The facing up half of the massage was him telling me how much he was having a really bad day, but I came in and it made his day better, and he was just really happy to see me.
Oh,
His heart and his boner won't go on.
man, he is taken to the next level.
So we near the end of the massage, and he walks down. Okay, it typically ends with like the top of your head, right? Like they like
Right?
scratch your scalp and they massage the top of your head, and they say, "Sorry, you're out of time," and I say no, and then that's how it goes every time. This time,
Then you give him another $20 for another song. I know the names.
no, it's a little different.
Is it?
Yeah. So this
I
time,
think I enjoyed mine more.
probably he walks up to about my midsection, and he says, "My goal with you is to try something new every time I see you."
Oh, and I know
man.
that my heart will go on.
Oy.
Once more, you open the door that was shut when I was banned from massage school long ago. Show that dog getting a haircut.
It is perfect.
You're welcome, Nathan. That's an easy one for the Twitter.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Ooh.
then,
Then
So that new song.
he says, "Where did you say you got hurt again?" And he said, "Did you say your stomach?" And he put his hands on my stomach, which has never happened before.
Oh, Jesus.
No one has ever touched my stomach before in a massage.
Ever. In your entire life.
And then he says, "All right, now we're going to try this new pressure." And he puts his hands on my front thighs, which literally no massage person has ever gotten anywhere near my front thighs, ever. And he just like pushes down, puts some pressure on it. Real close to the junk. Real close. So,
This music's
Then he
syncing up
says-
perfectly. No, continue.
then he says our time's up and leaves the room. And when I went out to pay him, he said, "Thanks again for coming in today. You really made my day better."
Becca,
Did
I
I
can-
lose?
I can say right now, everybody here agrees that I won this. I won this bet.
Yes, it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was creepy then?
That's two McConaughey's. Two
You got two
McConaughey's.
McConaughey's coming your way.
That's right. Yep.
And the way he ended it, super creepy, even still.
Yeah.
Time's up. Creep.
Silence!
I mean, the whole thing. He set it up, telling you about his wife issues, turns you over, touches your
Every time
front
you
thighs
know- Oh.
near your junk. Nah. If you
Yeah.
even, okay,
I'm
here's
gonna try
another bet.
something new. I'm gonna try to get away with something new every time.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
Yeah.
You
that's.
said,
Yeah.
I was 14, 15 once too. I know what. Every time you make out, you try to move a little bit.
Look, I've
further.
tried to play just the tip a time or two. All right, I'm gonna try something new. It's called. I'm gonna put this here and just kind of vibrate.
I guarantee if you said anything, even the slightest positive sort of thing that would give him a hint of something, he would go next level creepy.
He's making a video. He's gonna sell to a website. of sorts.
He would like do some creepy shit, like kiss you on the back or some shit when he was like massage. I guarantee it. If you gave him any kind of encouragement anyway, he would do something like that.
He did pull this other thing where, okay, so let me just tell you this little story and you guys will immediately recognize what I'm talking about. So he was telling me about this like face thing that they do with rubber bands or something. And I said, so you just literally put rubber bands on people's faces while they're laying on this table? He said, yeah. And I said, so you get to see everyone at their least attractive. Like, for sure. You just put rubber bands on someone's face. And he's like, well, everybody already sees me at my least attractive. And he's like,
oh
with
my
my
gosh,
big
what a
nose and my,
baseline.
big nose and my buck teeth. And
Little
I just went,
self-degradation. Just throw a little
From a guy who
self-degradation out
uses
there.
lines like that all the fucking time at work. It is all about the delivery. You can come off as creepy or you can come off as the most charismatic fuck they've ever met in their
This
life.
guy sounds really pathetic.
there was one
Yeah.
more
I
thing.
don't know
that
how
was,
it could come across as charismatic. Self-degradation is I can't.
it's fishing.
Certain people are attracted to that, and those kinds of people are not attractive. The people that are
You ain't
attracted
had it done to you. You ain't
Well,
had it done to you right.
There's
ahead.
funny.
No,
there's funny self-degradation.
Yeah,
there's
there's
funny.
Yeah,
And
that
self
wasn't funny.
and it's self-deprecation.
That's what I meant. Self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
And
For the right
Thank
word.
you.
but when you are posing it so that you're fishing for a compliment or an "oh poor you" or something like that, nah, you already have too much baggage to hold a conversation with.
I'll sell it to you right now because it applies to both your themes. When people ask me at work, like, wait, what's your name again? I say, I'm Brad, like Brad Pitt. If only I was rich and handsome, I'd be somebody.
Well, okay. Well, that's funny.
But
That's
then you
funny, but
say,
that rides the line of, oh, am I fishing for a compliment? No, because the
I
way
don't
it
think
sounds,
so.
I don't give a fuck what you're thinking.
I would
was like, oh, well, you know.
I would take that and then pause and say, well, I'm handsome.
Yeah, there you go.
No, because A, that takes up more precious time for me trying to get away from you to do whatever I gotta do.
Well,
But
let's
that's,
say
that's
if
in a
you
work
had the
environment,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let the wives at the table say, oh, well, you're handsome. And then the husband say, well, don't you go looking. And of course, come to the realization that it's never going to happen. So,
I've got you, Brad. I've got you.
you know what I'm saying.
They say what's your name, and you say Brad, like Brad Pitt. Well, he's lucky I gave him that first role.
Yeah.
He's lucky I let him have it.
I might, you know what? I might take that. I might use it.
You know what you ought to do, Becca? You need to exchange phone numbers with him, and then the only thing you ever send him is a link to the clip that Nathan made of you telling the story. Just send him the YouTube clip.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then just like maybe attach like a comment with it, like careful what you do and say.
Attach a Kenny
That
G
is-
lyric to
You
it.
never know who might have a podcast.
That is beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, what if he thought we had thousands of listeners and like hanged himself though?
That's not cool.
I mean,
Well, we didn't
I would feel
encourage it.
pretty
We
awesome
just
about
think
that, but
I'm thinking about it from the liability standpoint. Like, well, we didn't encourage it. Oh yeah, kill yourself. We didn't say that on the podcast. We just said, haha, that's funny and embarrassing for you and not us.
oh, we never
Yeah.
said kill him. We never said that. Yeah.
Exactly.
There was one other thing he said that was kind of funny to me. That was kind of odd. When he was talking about his problems with his wife, he was saying, he's young. He's like 22, and I guess his wife is probably young too. And he was
Shotgun
like,
wedding.
she's just so selfish, and she just doesn't look at things logically. She's still 18 in her head, and I'm like 28 or 30. Like fucking weird ass
Like
specific
She's so
numbers.
logical, and she's not mature for her age. And she's like 18 still, but I'm like 28 in my head. You know what I mean?
28 or 30, one of the
Or
two.
30.
I'm 28 or 30 in my head, but I'm much older in my hands.
I don't need to apply cream, but they have wisdom in the tips. Just the tips, though. You know what I mean, love?
All right, well, I guess I have to take 2
Wisdom
shots.
is-
Next week, I'll take 2 shots of that Matthew McConaughey. On
You
the
can't
podcast.
shoot this. It's better than that. You'll have to sip it.
Take
With some
2
light.
shots of wisdom
That's
tips.
worse. That's a worse punishment. Whiskey tastes like garbage to me.
Oh, that's right. I can't believe it. Yeah, she hates whiskey. This will be good.
Ooh.
So I'm being
Yeah.
punished for being creeped on.
Yeah.
Well,
No, you're receiving Matthew McConaughey's for your flight.
Victim
That's
blaming.
right.
That's what this is.
Well, move to Florida and
You've
maybe
been-
you don't have to deal with it.
You've been Jussie
This is law.
Smolletted. You've been Jussied.
Jesse?
You got
Jussied.
small
Jussied.
dick energy.
Jussied.
around you.
That's a good word, Jussied.
Jussied.
Oh.
With this whole Jussie Smollett thing, and I can't believe through the whole thing, nobody anywhere in the media has pointed out what a fucking stupid name Jussie is.
It is the ultimate of is it a boy or a girl when you hear that name.
What is it?
The-
Jesse what? Oh,
Smollett.
never mind. Google knows.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was a typo. I was like, obviously it's Jesse. They just hit you for whatever. But no, I saw it a few more times.
when
so
they were
it's- oh, no.
when they were typing out the birth.
It
birth
is
certificate.
Jesse. His mom. I thought maybe his mom tilted her E back, and she didn't want to admit that she spelled his name wrong, so we went with Jesse.
That's a really bad choice there.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
seeing a
your
bunch of
mom.
headlines, but none of them are giving me what's his deal.
You don't know.
You don't
I
know what
I
this
yeah,
deal
I
is?
don't know anything about this guy.
This
I
is
don't
a
know what his
3-week-old
deal is.
news story.
You don't
man.
remember my hate crime earlier at the beginning here?
Yeah,
remember
on
my
you?
hate
Yeah,
crime?
yeah.
Oh, you just thought that was a fun.
Yeah, I
little
just thought that
bit.
was something.
I'll
that,
give
yeah.
a quick summary. Give
Give it to him, Dave.
About 3 weeks ago, he is the actor on Empire.
Okay.
He's an openly gay man, and obviously he's
that
black.
guy, yeah, I know.
And he claimed, and at the time he was irritated by people saying that he claimed, but from a journalistic standpoint, that's what it is until you find somebody that did something. But he claimed that he was jumped in Chicago. Something was put over his head. and
Okay,
then-
hold on, Dave. This was at 2 a.m. during the polar vortex. When
Which
it was
lasted
so
days
cold.
or something?
it was so cold during that time, if
Oh,
you were
okay.
out for a certain amount of time, you would
Yeah, you ain't supposed to be out
your
there.
skin would freeze.
Where-
So it was 2 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah,
and he claimed this attack happened.
they jumped him and they poured some fluid on him. He wasn't
Bleach.
sure what.
He claimed it was bleach. Yeah.
and called him. Used the N word and other derogatory. Used 2 specific ones. They bleeped him out. And
That word that that Brad called Patrick earlier.
Yeah,
Cock- I'm
and
Where's your dinosaur?
so they jumped him, and they were looking at surveillance video in downtown Chicago. There's video everywhere.
Dave,
and they
you're not
couldn't-
telling the full. You're not telling the full story.
Well, what am I missing?
Okay, he claimed 2 white men jumped him. They poured bleach on him. They called him the N word and the F word. They put a rope around his neck like a noose, and they
Yeah.
They had red Trump hats on, and they were yelling, "This is MAGA country."
Yeah, I hadn't gotten to that part
Yeah,
yet.
they beat him up. They beat him up. They fought, and then he punched back, and then he got away.
During
And a
the
lot
polar
of his
vortex.
story didn't make sense. He went directly to a hospital, but he never removed the noose from around his neck,
Oh.
which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
So he showed up at the
Did
hospital,
he
and
smell like bleach?
I don't know
It's
about
pretty
that.
pungent smell.
But he had that cut over his eye, took that picture, and as the story goes, they couldn't find any of the video, and so they were trying to question him. He was okay, but he got really irritated with everybody saying claimed or not saying it just did happen.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, just
But
because
that's
he
how
said
you
it.
report. That's
That's
exactly
correct.
how reports go. Yeah.
So as it turns out, they find out that the 2 people that they did have on video that were on the street at the time, which were black guys, actually were acquaintances of his and worked on the show with him and he paid them with a check, $3,500, and communicated with them the whole time. It was all set up. And he went and made several press appearances over the 3 weeks of time. And as it turns out, those two guys that hired, well, they wanted to cooperate because they didn't want to be charged with anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really set this whole thing up. He planned everything. He gave them $100 to go buy ski masks and the MAGA hats and some other stuff. And it was
Have you seen the picture, Dave, of them at buying the stuff, the security camera?
Yeah,
There's
ski mask right there on the counter.
One of them has the red hat on backwards, and there's like a rope and ski mask and shit on the counter. It's like
yes,
it's like they went to like Bank Robbers R Us, and they've got all their shit right there.
I mean,
I'm gonna
it's
get my ski mask. Hold on.
It's right on the camera. They put all that shit on the counter, and you see everything. And so they reported it. And as it turns out, he was just trying to get more money and more notoriety on his show. And wanted to negotiate a better contract. And so he's now been arrested and charged with. I forget what the charge is.
Felony is felony disturbing the
Rec-
peace.
I
Something like that. It was two
Yeah.
things. It is a felony. But he also, before he did this scheme, he had mailed a letter
that's
to the
right.
studio. Like a couple of weeks earlier, he mailed this letter with literal clippings from a magazine forming the words like you see in every movie. He had formed out this threatening letter, about him, and then he had ground up some Tylenol and put it in the letter too, like it, like it was anthrax or some shit.
Yeah.
And since he didn't get the kind of reaction from that he wanted, he went ahead with this planned hoax attack. And he's also now the thing is, like, when the police said that we have two suspects, he was saying he was going to come in and ID these people, but he heard then that it was the actual two people that had helped him do it, and he backed out of going down. So basically, it implies that he was willing to ID two innocent people to impin this fake crime on them.
Right.
And
until
now
he found out it was actually the right guy.
Right. And now these guys are saying that, telling the story of what happened, and he is literally going, I can't believe that these two guys I knew are doing this to me.
What?
That they would attack me.
I can't believe they're making this shit up. Oh, look, I didn't rob that bank.
No, he's saying I
was
can't
just
believe that
there
they
when
attacked.
those assholes decided to do it. Now they want to fucking throw blame on me.
I'm just trying to protect my face from the wind.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, if you were in that situation, like you had already made that dumb fucking mistake, what would you do? Would you just
find my sunglasses right now? That's what I'm trying to do.
Like you are getting screwed either way. Like you're done. They figured
you hire a
Wait,
lawyer
if you were,
and shut the fuck
if
up.
you were which guy that
in
did the dumb
America.
thing?
If you were the
Justin.
guy
Yeah.
that paid his friends to do that, and you realized that
That the jig is
there were
up?
two suspects. If there were two suspects, you could get away with this. You could say these are the guys. They would never be able to prove it otherwise or whatever.
Oh,
if
man,
that
I
were the
couldn't
case.
do it. I mean,
Well, could you pay someone to beat you up?
I could.
They didn't beat him
No,
up.
but
He marked
I mean,
himself
it's
up.
a little more. It's what's his end goal? By the way,
Well, his end goal
He
was
wanted to become famous.
but I
Yeah.
thought he was already famous. He's
He
already
was,
on.
but he
Nobody
wanted-
knows who the fuck that guy is.
oh.
Now everybody knows.
He
wanted more money for his contract as what the intended motive from all of it is. Basically, maybe they got the information from those gentlemen. I don't know. But, my point is, you could have had, I know it's if, ands, buts, and all that stuff, but you could have put a town on the brink of some kind of nonsense based on your
Graceful.
own selfish and personal gain. I mean, if we had those powers that we talked about having a couple episodes ago, you'd be a dead man.
Well, we figured out his next move. Have you guys seen the latest? What he's doing now?
no.
No, I know that he was cut from the last two episodes of Empire. They said, no, thank you.
what he is claiming now is that he has an untreated drug problem.
Drug problem. Yeah, you don't want to go with mental illness because that's not as
You'll
easy
never
to
get
cure.
hired again.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
If it's an untreated drug problem, then hey.
Sorry, guys. I just love cocaine. You know what I mean?
I need more money to support my habit.
I mean, that's the next logical place to go. If
Cocaine?
to claim that you have a drug problem
Yeah.
as a celebrity, because people will eventually feel bad for you.
Yeah, you go away for a 90-day program, you come back, and everything's better.
And now everybody knows your name.
So I think that's and that was I hadn't even considered, and I also didn't know that what Nathan had shared about, I didn't put that in, but I do recall hearing that. And yeah, he was willing to put 2 people away, innocent crime. That really does suck.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought of that way. I thought about it from this country is already more divided than we need it to be.
Mhm.
And we're always, throwing stones across one side and the other. And one side is claiming that the other is sensationalizing everything, and the other side is claiming and dividing the country. But in actuality, this is a perfect example of both sides being deliberately divisive. Deliberately.
Y'all remember when that world stopped turning that September day? You remember back when everybody was American and it wasn't Republican or Democrat or white or black and all that nostalgic time that you think of almost 20 years ago. That's how you know you feel old, when you remember where you were at 9/11.
Back when all you had to do to make your business successful was just throw "God Bless America" up on the marquee board.
And then the people come flocking to your car wash every time.
Brad, are you preparing to commit a hate crime?
Not a hate
With
crime,
that mask on?
just a crime of passion for love of America. And money.
What the hell?
And lots of money, because our used tissue market dried up real quick after that sinus infection.
I like it. Looks like a snake. You got a snake face.
This was my
Oh,
one
man.
souvenir from when we went to Key West, just because I liked it, and fuck you. And those were my reasoning for buying something I rarely get to use. I like it, and fuck you. Use it whenever.
There was
use
one
it at Christmas.
opportunity to use it, right? And you were like, "God damn it! I forgot the motherfucking thing at home."
No, that's happened a couple times, actually. Every time it happens, I'm like, God damn it! Every single time. It's the most mild fury I could ever have. Where I'm like,
Mild fury.
Mild fury.
You're pissed off at the time when you realize you could have used it and it would have been a legitimate reason, and then you didn't use it, so you're just angry.
That's what I felt when I read that Steve Irwin article. Mild fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking
Well.
shit about the crocodile hunter.
Hey,
It's
I had a
real.
guy try to lead me to the Lord today.
Oh yeah?
Oh.
Yeah,
How'd that go?
I was ringing him up. He wanted
Did
to
you
get-
tell him you had already been there?
I really wanted to. I rung him up. Him and his buddies came in. I guess they're on vacation or something. They all ordered something themselves. And then whenever I was done with the last guy, the first guy that I'd rung up, he's like, "Hey, what was your name?" I said, "Steve." He said, "It's nice to meet you. I'm feeling pressed to tell you that Jesus loves
Oh!
you." And
He's feeling
he-
pressed to
and
tell
he
you.
just-
Feeling pressed, dog.
he wants you to know that he loves you. I was like, okay.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for that.
And yes, my knee-jerk reaction with stuff like that is like, oh no, I've been down that road. I've rid myself of it, and actually, I'm really proud of that. but I didn't. I'm like, I'm at work. I don't need to get into a religious debate with this guy. And then he's like, do you have a sciatic pain down your left leg?
Wow.
I said,
What the-
no.
Oh.
No, he said, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm new to this. I'm still learning to listen to his words.
It's so painful.
I'm still learning to listen to the Lord, or something like that." And I was just like, "Okay, all right, cool,
Good luck with that.
yeah." And then I went and washed my hands and made his pizza.
Well, hey, you're lucky
Sounds
that
like-
you don't have any sciatic pain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
course, I'm going like, what is sciatic pain? I don't even
Yeah,
know.
it's-
It sounds like he was cold reading you, and he just
Yeah.
watched.
I
you
know, and
walk
like
for
so
a
many things are
second.
going through my head. Like, what is some kind of like psychic Christian mesh thing that you've come up with?
Oh, you don't know what this is?
I
You
mean,
You
don't
don't
I
know
know
how to
it's-
cold read people.
I know
Shit, Steve-O?
it's some kind of faith
Gifts of the
healing.
Spirit,
It's
man. Gifts of the
yeah,
Spirit.
faith healing and well, and sensing what someone is. Oh
No,
man,
yeah.
I would have loved to been able to have a conversation with him, but I'm at work, and that's not. As an
My dad-
employee of an establishment, I need
Wouldn't
not
want to
get
pissed
into-
off your retarded manager, the retarded
My dad
girl.
used to do this, and he was really good at it. And it was in no way, to him, it was not that he was scamming. He believed what he was doing.
Mhm.
But I had seen him like
This
straight
guy
up.
did too, I'm sure.
No, yeah, I'm sure he did. And I think it's like a learned thing through practice, but it basically is like cold reading. But I'd seen my dad do it, and just like crowd of like 300 people point at somebody, and then just like say that shit to them, and them like, yes, that's me, and just like break into tears.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
maybe he like saw
Uh,
the way I walked or was standing or something, and something about it, my body language indicated that I had some sort of pain in my leg, but I don't. I just don't.
And now you're self-conscious about the way you walk.
No. No.
It's such an odd. I used to live in that environment where, and I never got that far to where I thought this way, but
Like enough to actually speak out to someone and say, I'm going to predict an ailment.
well, I just like the way I was I was just trying to hear from myself. I wanted to hear from God,
Yeah,
like that was
yeah.
the thing, to
I
hear
remember
God's
that.
voice, right?
Mhm.
But I was around a lot of people who were very serious in the ministry. Like my former brother-in-law was like that. He was always willing, if he was looking at somebody and a thought entered his head, he would walk up and say something to him
Right.
immediately. Like he
Yikes.
had that kind of thing. So I remember we were at a fucking Qdoba. If you ever been to one of those, it's
Yeah.
basically like Chipotle.
Right.
We were getting our fucking burritos, sitting down, and he just gets up and he walks over to the owner, and he's like, I know this sounds weird, but God's really telling me that your business is going to be really successful. Like, and he went into this whole thing. And he was just
Qdoba,
like,
look,
he's
I've
like,
seen
would you
this
mind?
shit.
Like, and he went this thing. And he's like, would you mind if I prayed with you right now? And the guy was just like, no, I
Sure.
guess it's okay. Yeah. It's just like,
Well, his
Yeah,
business
go
probably
ahead.
is going to be successful because he's the kind of guy that would play along with something like that for one of his customers.
Yeah.
Or he believes.
they're
you
still
know.
open. They're still open. So maybe he was.
You know,
right.
but just to clarify, that's one of those skills that's like, if you cast a broad net, you will collect some fish. I'm sure there's lots of those encounters where, like this guy with me, like, do you have sciatic pain down your left leg?
Right.
Where I'm
Back-
like,
yeah.
no, but I bet that he's getting some confirmation somewhere, or he's learning. What he's really learning is to be more vague.
Right,
you
right.
can't
So
be,
it's-
don't be so specific.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard like back pain, knee pain, headaches,
Mm-hmm.
financial issues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
all
I'll
these
give
things,
that
these
last
are the
one a
things
big
that
up.
these are the things you hear in the prophetic ministry and the healing kind of stuff. Those are
Right.
the kind of things that you hear people start with,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of narrows down
Right.
from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely, if you can read body language and different signs that people give, then yeah, you could totally narrow it down. Start nice and vague. He was going for broke with that one. He really felt the Lord was leading him to sciatic pain in the left
Yeah.
leg. And now, he's going to go talk to his mentor, and his mentor is going to be like, that's a little too specific, brother. I don't think
Holy Ghost.
the
was a
Holy
little
Ghost
too
does
specific.
not speak in such specific terms. Oh. Yeah, he'll have-
Holy Ghost, tell me your third vertebrae is a little askew.
right.
Tell
right.
me more. Tell me more.
Got that Holy Ghost fire. Becca.
Silence.
Talking to me or the Holy Ghost?
Pick pick one.
Silence.
I'm gonna say silence to everybody but Becca.
There you go.
Okay. So I guess it's poem time. Okay.
I didn't even need to say anything else. You knew.
I did know. Okay, this one is called Erotic Spoken Word Fan Fiction.
Give the people what they want. Silence.
When did we turn into the largest in the world? Everything we're made of operating the way it should, telling the full story because that's how you report. People will come flocking. It's completely reasonable to assume that this is all there is. That's what the words on paper is for, and they can't destroy themselves.
I just like how on this one more than others, I can tell that like as the poem goes on, like different lines are definitely from. It's not. Help me. What's the word? It's not chronological. Like
Yeah.
the lines are. I mean, you've alluded to that before, but it was like, oh, I know that line. Oh, that was from the beginning. Oh, that's from. Yeah, that's very good.
Thank you.
We got another follower.
Yes,
While we
I
were
meant
watching.
to holler out at him, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody. Yeah.
Well, that's why I typed the holler.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who's that?
Yeah. I see.
They ain't watching now.
Thanks
I
for
don't
the
know.
follow,
Now they
Dunnery.
left.
Dunnery Dirt LG.
Who?
Dundery LG.
Dunnery
Dun-
Dur LG.
Dunnery Durr.
Say that in Australian accent.
That's
Dundery
perfect.
LG. Thanks for the follow, mate.
I bet he wears dungarees.
You wear dungarees? You ever wrestled a crocodile?
No rules, just right.
You ever punched a kangaroo in his fucking mouth?
Wow.
God knows bloke deserves it.
Dave, what are you wowing at?
What are you drinking out of that, Dave?
I'm really thirsty.
What are you thirsty for, mate?
Water. I just drank it.
Stay thirsty.
Are you thirsty for a Foster's?
Sounds delicious.
Foster's.
The worst beer on the planet.
Isn't it Stay Thirsty, my friends? Or who says that?
That's
That's
Dos
the most
Equis.
interesting
Yeah.
man in the world. It was
Oh.
an ad campaign for that there Dos Equis that ended 2 years ago.
It's not for full stas.
Todd
No,
still
that's
talks
just
about it.
Australian for beer,
Yeah,
which
that's Australian
is
for beer.
funny because if you watch a video of Australians drinking American beer, they're like, "This tastes like water."
You can't. Yeah, I mean, but I guess Australians don't drink Foster's because That's
No,
what I've
because it's
heard.
brewed in fucking Texas,
it's
mate.
really bad. You can't insult any beer if you drink Foster's.
I don't think I've seen a can of Foster's in 3 years.
That's an oddly specific time to know.
Well, what's
They
your
got it at
timeline
Walmart.
on Foster? Well, fucking there you go, mate.
Oh yeah, you can
That's
get
where it
Foster's
went.
anywhere. Yeah.
At your local Walmart, I hear.
Gosh, all right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for a great podcast. Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song. Check us out on Patreon. Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Don't forget to watch us. You can check us out on YouTube later on, but we would love to have you in the chat on mixer.com/verbal assault podcast. And is there any other way to talk to us, Brad?
Do you want to pucker your buttholes right now, or do you want to just let it go right on in? 865-316-6955. That's how you get your butthole puckered.
Dave, what was that number?
865-316-6955.
I think Dave's butthole was really puckered when he said
How's your
that.
butthole there, Dave?
Very tight.
Thirsty
Tell us
for
about
water.
your butthole. Tell us about your butthole, mate.
Hoyt.
How's
Spuckery.
it doing there, love?
Stay fuckery.
Straight
Fuckery.
fuckery, isn't it? All right, then. Keep your secrets. Silence!
You ended it right there, right, Steve-O?
No, I was waiting for fucking Dave.
Fucking
he
Dave.
did.
Well,
He
Crack
said
it,
it.
crack it.
Just kill it.